hand over to Comrade Longos. Or before that, let me also introduce to you Mr. Nigel. Nigel Rambugu is the coordinator of the Media Alliances. So, Comrade Longos is going to read to us the statement.
Thank you very much. Good morning, colleagues and comrades. This is a statement for World Press Freedom Day, which, as has been said by Comrade Nzangi, is a representative of the Media Alliance, which is a collective grouping of media organizations, media lobby groups in Zimbabwe. The international theme, as you'll be aware, is for critical times. The media's role in advancing peaceful, just and inclusive societies. The local theme is critical minds for critical times. The media's role in advancing peaceful, just and inclusive Zimbabwe. Every year, May 3 is a date in which the world commemorates the fundamental principles of media freedom, including assessing the extent at which press freedom is being enjoyed around the world, to defend the media from attacks on their independence, and to pay tribute to journalists and media practitioners that have put their lives on the line of their profession. As the world commemorates this significant day on the press calendar, the Media Alliance of Zimbabwe takes this occasion to reflect upon the state of media freedom in Zimbabwe. Advocates of citizens' rights to access to information and media freedom. World Press Freedom Day also provides MAZ with an opportunity to raise concern on the slow implementation of media reforms in Zimbabwe. In reflecting upon developments in Zimbabwe's media sector, MAZ is concerned that the country's media landscape continues to deteriorate as compared to the previous years, amid indications that more journalists were harassed over the last year, while the government continues to threaten to clamp down on media freedom. According to statistics, there was an upsurge in media violations, with at least journalists unlawfully arrested or detained in the last year. I'm sure most of you will remember, particularly around the demonstrations that were taking place, political demonstrations. A lot of journalists were arrested and detained unlawfully, and this resulted in the media representatives meeting the police leadership at the PGHQ to voice those concerns, resulted in some positive outcomes following that meeting. The assaults were made either by police or by unruly political activists, while the journalists were professionally conducting themselves. And this is a 130% increase in the number of journalists arrested and assaulted, respectively, while commuting. Also concerned by threats against media freedom, which poses a chilling effect on citizens' right to freedom of expression and access to information, both offline and online, as evidenced by stern measures such as the blackout on social media platforms, such as WhatsApp, bans in motion to enact laws that will hinder online activity under the guise of preventing cyber crimes. While noting government commitment to engage and consult on the proposed cyber legislation and review of the Access to Information and Protection of Privacy Act and the Broadcasting Services Act, that the government has not set timelines on when these plans are going to be implemented, and there is no clear roadmap for reforming the media. We therefore call on the Information and Media duty to submit legislation before the appropriate authorities, spearheading the processes of aligning laws with the Constitution. The same concerns naturally apply to the Information Media Panel of Inquiry report, which had positive resolutions and recommendations, and we still await the holding of meetings and conferences to ensure that the resolution recommendations made in the report are implemented. MAZ is also cognizant of other developments within the media sector, specifically the process of digital migration as spearheaded by the Ministry of Information, discussions on internet governance and cyber laws, as well as concerns pertaining to the sustainability of most media organizations. These developments have invariably posed opportunities to the survival of media organizations and to the enjoyment of rights to freedom of expression and access to information. I was having debates and discussions with some people involved in this digital transition, and they are of the view that it is going to create opportunities and jobs given the number of radio stations and television stations that are going to be created, and therefore hence the call to retool and begin to be content producers at a larger scale. It is against this background that MAZ urges the Zimbabwe government to swiftly align the country's media laws, policy and regulatory frameworks with the Constitution and in line with the regional and international instruments that it is a state party or signatory to. It is also prudent for government to deal with perpetrators of media violations and ensure the greatest safety and security of journalists conducting their professional duties, particularly at a time that the country is heading towards watershed elections in the next year. Safety and security of journalists still remains paramount and important. I was with the comrade privilege last week, where ironically we were attending a meeting to prepare for World Press Freedom Day commemorations. And we were invited over by the police for a discussion. Alone situates the safety and security of journalists in the country as we speak. In noting the digitalization program and the recent launch of the national languages news bulletins by the Zimbabwe Broadcasting Corporation, MAZ urges the review of broadcasting policy framework in order to secure ZBC's governance, managerial and editorial independence, for it to fulfill its public service mandate as provided for in the Constitution. The broadcasting policy framework should also provide for the entry of diverse media owners and the licensing of community radio stations. The licensing of community radio stations still remains an outstanding issue that we continue to urge authorities to look at urgently and implement speedily. Community radios are a necessary developmental tool. MAZ also continues to implore the government to create a safe working environment for the media and to provide leadership within and outside government in raising awareness on the need to ensure the safety and security of journalists and the media workers. Moreover, we buttress the calls for government to address the sustainability challenges within the media industry by reviewing the multiple tax regimes and to further facilitate for the viability of the media industry. MAZ sincerely believes that addressing these challenges will spur the country towards realizing sustainable development goals. Targets as freedom of expression and press freedom are essential to success at every level. Of commemorations for this year, the Media Alliance of Zimbabwe, MAZ, in partnership with the UNESCO, which is a UN agency, and leadership of the Zimbabwe National Editors Forum, ZINEF, and the Zimbabwe Union of Journalists, ZUJ, will, as commemorations of World Press Freedom Day on the 3rd of May, host a symposium at the Harare Polytechnic where media stakeholders are going to reflect on the topic, critical minds for critical times, the media's role in advancing peaceful, just, and inclusive Zimbabwe. The event will commence at 9 o'clock and end at 1 o'clock. The media stakeholder is invited. Some of the key speakers at the event, at the symposium, other than myself, will be the Zimbabwe Government Minister of Information, Media and Broadcasting Services, the Zimbabwe National Editors Forum Chairperson and Zimbabwe Independent Editor Dinsan Mulea, the United Nations Education, Scientific and Cultural Organization, UNESCO Regional Director, Media Academic and Zimbabwe Democracy Institute Director, Dr. Pesai Rohanya, and the Zimbabwe Media Commission Chief Executive Officer, Dr. Tafata Ona Pasipaipa also. Post this activity, MAZ partner MISA Zimbabwe is going to convene provincial press freedom commemorations in some of these cities in Zimbabwe. Other notable activities include a breakfast meeting to be convened in Harare on the 2nd of May and the annual Bono Chakawadza lecture, Voluntary Media Council of Zimbabwe on the 4th of May. Other members and media stakeholders are also going to be convening various commemorative activities across the country. MAZ, through its various social media pages, will be stimulating discussions and debate on press freedom in Zimbabwe. And there will also be various hashtags for all the aforementioned activities. Some of the hashtags include the international hashtag World Press Freedom Day, and the local hashtags include the hashtags Zimbabwe World Press Freedom Day 2017 and hashtag Press Freedom Day Zimbabwe. About MAZ. The Media Alliance of Zimbabwe is an alliance of media support organizations, including Media Monitors, Institute of Southern Africa, Zimbabwe Union of Journalists, Zimbabwe National Editors Forum, Gender and Media Connect, the Media Center, the Zimbabwe Association of Community Radio Stations, the Voluntary Media Council of Zimbabwe, and the African Community Publishing Development Trust. MAZ focuses on 4 key areas, which include freedom of expression, right to information, media freedom, media law, and policy reform. Thank you very much.
Okay, yeah. Thank you, SG, for reading the statement. We now open for questions, comments from members of the press and others here present.
Yes.
Thank you, SG. The last is 2 years ago, many of your members participated in the Ministry of Information led the independent media inquiry, panel of inquiry, which came up with a number of recommendations. Just to hear from you if there's any communication on the status of those recommendations, and also your views on how that document is either being used or ignored.
Thank you very much. The EP report. Sorry about that. The EP report, according to communication that I've had, not formally, with information, officials from the Ministry of Information, is that the notice from the time that the report was launched, one gets a sense that they are cherry picking whatever it is that they want to implement. Because, for example, when we're moving around the country, particularly areas, a lot of people were talking about issues radio, television. So I see there's a lot of work being done. And so you get the sense that while they've not formally said, now what, there are some areas where they are implementing without it through the process of
What information does MAZ have on status of licensing of television stations? MAZ that other organizations are setting up soon. I heard you mention issue of digitization. That issue of the possibility to transparent digital licensing of television stations is posted. What information does the Media Alliance of Zimbabwe have at the status of that process? Especially I think with the background that others are sort of already preparing for setting up television stations.
Okay. My colleague will have to that. I'm sure you are aware that issues around licensing, how they are treated in this country, and so there will always be different or varying approaches or attitudes towards that by government. And so you find that there's always been complaints around issues of whether the processes are transparent or not. That's supposed that's an attitude that exists, but maybe Nigeria. What information?
Yeah, well, just to add from what Secretary General said, there is, of course, official, which is already in the public domain to say, well, we are going to license 12 television stations and so forth, and there will be these new laws, including the review of the Broadcasting Services Act, and this has been said at the various parliamentary portfolio committee forums, and also within our own engagements with the ministry. But yes, we also, are aware that there are media organizations that are already preparing for the coming in of this new television stations, some of which are already recruiting and so on, and we are alive to that particular fact. But what we and have also mentioned in this statement, continue to lobby in that for is a transparent licensing framework. We continue to lobby for reforming the public broadcaster. We continue to say we need to have an independent broadcast because all those concerns in terms of will be addressed, and all those issues in preparation of the digital migration process will also be addressed. So in terms of information, we have those official information from the ministry, but also are aware of some stations that are, some media organizations that are ready themselves.
A follow-up to the question. Us as journalists, should we be worried about who gets the license? Since most of the journalists will be looking for employment, or should we be concerned by producing content which these television stations that are going to be given licenses are demanding? where do we stand? Because for me, personally, I don't think I should be concerned about either ZANU-PF gives 120 MPs. I should be worried about can I provide content to this?
Thank you very much for that question. Although it's a subject that we can debate over for a long time, but I had an opportunity to engage one of the officials involved in the digitalization program. And I had approached them with, we are worried that organizations are closing. This one is downsizing, this one is closing, and so on. And the officials were saying, do not see an opportunity in terms of not only finding jobs, but actually creating jobs for yourself, particularly if you retool around broadcasting. Because with all those radio stations, with all those TV stations, you can say the ZBC even struggles to fill in appropriate local content. That's why we have this Korean and Indian. They'll say there is a lot of opportunity. As I'm talking as workers, it's huge, and it's something that we can exploit. But going beyond that, remember I was saying it's important to have diversified opinions. Not plural, they can be plural, but for media, freedom of expression, access, it's always important to have a diversity.
Yeah, maybe just to follow up on that. There is a reason why there is a selective issuance of licenses. And the reason, I think, impacts on what the SG is already saying. That is the issue of diversity. We need diversity in the content. And as a journalist, there may be instances where you may produce content which may not be taken or be used by a certain station. The content may not be used for reasons that are political, that are ideological. Maybe they may be worried about your ideological standpoint. Maybe you may be criticizing the owners of the station. Maybe your content may actually jeopardize activities of certain people, activities which may include corrupt activities. So that is why we want transparent issuance of licenses that will allow for a free, open airing of content. So that even if I have content which is critical of maybe saying LB communications, that content may be aired. If I have content which is critical of even the people in the MDC, that content may be aired. So if you have selective licensing, you may have airdrops in terms of a free and open airing of content. That is precisely the issue. The issue is about diversity. What we want is MAZ, is diversity. What we want is MAZ, is freedom of expression. And is MAZ, is an open promotion of access to information by all citizens, not selective access to information where people access information, where certain people decide which information should be accessed by people and which should not be accessed by people.
Okay, my last one on that. For me, as a journalist, it's a competitive. My one is, this is the system that we have since 1980. So it's becoming like a debate. It's for another day, but this is our time. As journalists, our one should be on providing content. You have dogs, you buy dog food and give them. It goes free. If we have stations that want propaganda, issues as journalists, let's give it to them. If you want me as MAZ and other activists to do it there, give these guys an opportunity for them to create content that is needed, that is biased, that they can put food on their table. If they want a story that talks about land reform program, I am going to do it, and send it to them. If someone has told which talks about the failure of land reform, I will go and do it and send it to that buyer. This is what my one is. How much am I going to get from a 30-minute documentary in terms of providing content? Not about who is going to buy. If the buyers are there, I will say what is there.
Okay. You can take over after I'm done. But my view is nowhere in the world has monopolies, line thinking been a success. We are always talking about access to information. It has to be all types of information. Whether it's the one that agrees or does not agree, the one that conforms or does not conform. Because at the end of the day, it also affects the job market in the sense that for those that are not biased or thinking or aligned towards producing a certain type of content, it means as workers, their work will not be accepted. And we are saying we see no reason. We see no reason why journalists should think alike or produce the same type of content. But anyway, the question was directed to Comrade Zeng.
Yeah, I think what the comrade is saying is actually answering his own question. Because he is saying to sell to anyone. So we should be free to sell to even those who are, we should be free to sell to those who are against Zamdo. We should also be free to sell to those who are. So when we have a selective licensing, that kind of freedom, your expressive freedom is in that. In that you may be operate within a straitjacket. The famous straitjacket, where other ideas need to be left out. You may be forced to exercise self-censorship, but we want an atmosphere in the broadcasting sector where journalists are free to produce their content without fear, where they will not censor themselves, say, no, if we say this, ZBC might say, no, this is not acceptable. And for your own information, the Zimbabwe media sector, yes, people who have been forced out of jobs. Why have people been forced out of jobs? Because we have a restrictive straitjacket where only a few people are allowed maybe to control the broadcasting sector, to determine what happens there. That's why we are saying, I think MISA has for a long time been campaigning for a 3-tier broadcasting system comprising commercial broadcasting, public service broadcasting, and community, to make sure that different interests are catered for. And when we have such a system, opportunities for journalists, they will then be able to take their content even to the community station. They will be able to take their content to the commercial station. They will also be able to take their content to the public broadcaster. And even if the state or the party, for that matter, wants to broadcast, they can be allowed. In countries where there is freedom, more media freedom, political parties just they can have their own stations. And those who wish to sell propaganda to those can do so. And those who also wish what is commercially viable can also do so. And those who want to sell content of a public service nature can also do so. If we have a liberated broadcasting atmosphere, one good thing about digitization is that it opens up opportunities to players. And as many players means that there are employment opportunities. If you go to the media has become among the best employers. It employs a lot of people. But in Zimbabwe, actually the media space is shrinking.
Thank you, Londolez. And by the way, before you start, journalists are in the business of producing information.
Yeah. So probably Comrade Money are advocating for command content. But, my question is with regard to the issue of diversity. We've seen that in the previous years where probably post-2018 we have seen the broadcasting opening up, the broadcasting sector opening up, the licenses of those new age radio stations. I would want to ask, how has that provided diversity in terms of content that is produced? Is there any change in terms of diversity according to what you have seen as MAZ? Is there any diversity from the content that you are seeing from the radio stations that have been licensed?
Well, obviously, there is diversity. There is some form of diversity, but it's closely monitored. I don't know whether I was shocked or surprised when I was listening to one of the radio stations, which is, well, like all, or like some, perceived to be pro-government. And there were riots or demonstrations taking place. And remember those demonstrations? Saying also what men would have labeled as nasty, but they were ripping into the government and saying whatever they wanted and so on and so on. I'm sure after that they must have been slept on the wrist. What I'm saying is the attempts are there, but obviously for something that has been going on or happening for a long time, it takes a bit of a while for that kind of thinking to get out of people's systems. But obviously, on the whole, it's very difficult to achieve when there are perceived biases towards licensing. And because when you license, under the current regime of licensing, the perception is that you are licensed in order to sing a certain song according to a certain tune and so on. So you can, it could be the same song, but the extent of diversity is that just that one has turned into a reggae song, somebody into a Sungura song, and somebody has turned into a jazz song. So really there are debates around that, but obviously I think what I've said can. Okay, yeah, just to add on to that. The issue of diversity, I think when you look at it, Jonathan Moore, when he introduced this local content stipulation, I think that was in 2002. I don't think we have seen much of diversity. So-called groups which transitioned into what they now call Zimbabwe and so on and so forth. You see more of the same. That is a problem. And we haven't had diversity, because diversity should mean different. Remember what I don't know, someone was saying over TV, I think they were addressing some content producers meeting in the ground. I think it was Pakistan. You were saying what I wanted to see when I open my TV station. Yes. And if I don't see myself, let me see someone like myself. So if I am poor, let me see a poor man like me also on TV. Let me also see someone who speaks the language that is the same as myself. Let me see someone who is in a cultural situation that is like mine. But that is not the case. You open Zim television, for example, it's there. The same story. you know what to expect, which is why I think most Zimbabweans have now dished our daily bread on ZBC, and they have tried to acquire diversity and so on and so forth. It's a question for diversity. So we don't have diversity. Obviously, this is also not to say that we have diversity on DSTV. BBC, Sky, CNN is the same. It's more of the same as well. There is no diversity there because the news content is the same. Even when you go to these Nigerian movies, you watch one
And you have still hope. So we still need to improve. Listen, he says that here in Zimbabwe, the first steps towards diversity are yet to be taken. We are in a more serious situation than others because the first steps, where you are saying, let's have more players itself, is actually being denied.
Yes, going back to your statement, you mentioned two issues which I think you could give us further input on. You spoke about press to survive of the media organizations, most likely due to the digital development. And I'm also sure whether you are, as MAZ, communicating to the issues of how we could adapt to the new environment. And then you also spoke about the multiple tax regimes. If you would be forthcoming about, say, 1, 2, 3, 4, these are the taxes we think are not worth it, and why they're not worth it, that would make, I think that would increase it. When and that these are the taxes we the media are complaining about. These are what sort of, and like simply to say you have multiple tax regimes which are again.
Yeah, I think I could perhaps start with your last question, which I think is still very much linked to your first question. When we talk about media sustainability, we are looking at how the media can be capitalized and how the media can as a going concern. So in terms of the taxes, number one, as you are aware, we are no longer producing paper. We are no longer producing newsprint in the country. So that is one area already where the media feels the glitch that is in the case of the print media, because we are charged the import taxes. We are not spared. We are not under any bracket, and which is why we are appealing to the ministry to say, in order for us to reduce the cost of newspapers, which is extremely high, we need to start by addressing duties for newsprint. You come into Zimbabwe, the newsprint is there in the country. In the case even for broadcasters, you have to pay tax to the ZMC. You have to pay taxes to the government. The Zimra taxes. In the case of broadcasters, you have to also then pay, Zimbabwe music rights associations and them. To pay, for the frequencies, to transmit here and so forth. So there is no sort of a singular tax regime for the media, but you have all these various government institutions, very minimum pocket that the media has. Clamoring for these taxes. So what we are saying is we understand we have to pay the musicians, we have to pay all these various regulatory authorities. But what we are saying is that we are not operating in a normal environment, and we need to converse as to how make this media sustainable, and if government could, I've given already an example to say in terms of the import duty for newsprint, can intervene in terms of some of the taxes. In fact, the tax that goes to the ZMC is supposed to be reinvested into the media through a media development fund, but that is something that has not been happening. It has been used more or less to sustain operations of the commission. And for us that is a challenge, because on one hand, where we are supposed to be developing the sector, capacitating the sector, we are taking it from me to sustain the commission. So those are some of the issues that we'll be addressing when we say we need to address the multiple tax regime. I think
can we get clarity? Doesn't let it with clarity. Can we get clarity? Are you saying there should be a import tax suspension or you want it to be zero rated? And when it comes to the media fund, I'm sure in your position as an organization should be aware how much has been put in. If you are saying the money is not circulated back into the media budget.
I think from MAZ, our concern is about the free expression. Look at the Zimbabwe tax system. It's a tax system that is not friendly in the right of access to information. Right now, I was talking to Taramu, who is the worker, and he is telling me that the journalists at the worker cannot be accredited because the worker has failed to pay the 0.01% that is due to certain receipt. So when we talk of the tax, we are basically saying that for the consumer, for the media consumer, the tax burden is heavy. And someone cannot afford to buy a newspaper. The newspaper probably will be the last thing to buy after a year. But when you look at the people, that is the ordinary citizen, they are taxed on a full front. You pay the VAT, that's value-added tax. I think it also applies to the newspaper. You pay the pay as you earn, all sorts of taxes. The tax regime should gradually be reformed. That's what we are saying. You go to America today, I think the Trump administration up with a comprehensive package of tax reform. And one of the elements there is that for the first 24,000, the ordinary family will not be taxed. So for your first $24,000 that you earn, you may not be taxed. I don't know what the situation is like in Zimbabwe. Maybe it's only for the first or something like that. So we are basically trying to say that the tax system should be friendly to media freedom. It should be friendly to access to information. That's what we are trying to say in a simple term. I think the other issues of specifics may best be addressed by Zimbabwe.
When we get to World Press Freedom Day, there is always emphasis on freedoms. But we as journalists as well, we contribute the freedom of the press and even how information is shared. In this country, in Zimbabwe, the question that I would want to pose is there's the emergence of social media, there's the emergence of fake news now. If you look at journalists, our profession, ourselves, in your own view, how have we performed? How is the media? How has the media sector in Zimbabwe performed, particularly maybe looking in the past year in terms of professionalism?
I think the issues of professionalism are part of our work as the Media Alliance of Zimbabwe. One of our members, key members for that matter, the Voluntary Media Council of Zimbabwe, is actually seized with these matters of professionalism, and these are some of the issues that are also going to be addressed during the commemoration. For example, we have the annual Bono Chaka Awards and Memorial Lecture. I think it's going to touch on some of these issues. Maybe in short, in summary, I would say that yes, the issues of professionalism are also concerned. We have the media practitioners, we have media houses that have literally thrown journalistic ethics into the dustbin. the link directly done so. We have newspapers, for example, which have decided to become extensions of political party commissariat departments. And this is what we have largely seen through the so-called polarization of the media. It's one of the things that we want to end in this country as we commemorate World Press Freedom Day. And we are saying that social media have also become kind of problematic. But through those, we are also saying that the citizen should actually utilize them to have objective information being channeled out, so that they also don't become extensions of this political polarity that we are seeing. Professionalism, a real cause of concern, and we are saying that it should be addressed. Journalists, we have thrown their professional ethics out of the window. Should actually go outside and get it so that they can begin to do their work in the proper manner. Yeah. So